Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. In the past few days, we have seen two of the last remaining three House races be called. One was Iowa's District 1 with Republican incumbent Marionette Miller Meeks, and California's 45th District, which Democratic candidate Derek Tran has defeated Republican incumbent Michelle Steele. With that said, all eyes are now on the final congressional House race that has not yet been called. That is the California District 13 between Republican incumbent John Duarte and Democratic candidate Adam Gray. This race is super close, so if this is your first time watching any videos about this race, I'm going to break down all the districts in this congressional district and all the votes and just show you where things are at right now. So in California 13, right now with over 95% of the vote in, the Democratic challenger Adam Gray is leading Republican John Duarte 50.05% to 49.95%. Looking at the actual vote totals, right now Adam Gray has 104,991 votes. John Duarte has 104,801 votes. If you're looking at the lead, that is approximately about a 190 vote lead for Gray over Duarte out of the total 209,792 votes cast. So all we know for sure is that the votes are almost all in, and they're somewhere between 95% in and 100% in. We're not 100% sure on the exact vote total, but we're more confident than not it is much closer to 100% being in than 95% being in. So what do I mean by that? Well, at this point, right now, Adam Gray has about, again, as I told you, about a 190 vote lead of the 209,792 votes. So how many votes are actually left outstanding right now entirely district-wide? Well, let's actually do a little math to find this out. So as I told you, there is 209,792. What we're going to do is take that number times 0.01, and that gives us roughly 1% of the total vote, which would be about a little over 2,000 votes. If that estimate is correct, that means there's approximately 2,000 votes left remaining across this entire district to be counted if there's only 1% of the vote remaining. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to assume there is only 1% of the vote remaining, as the other district, California 45, at this point had about 1% remaining as well, and then all the votes came in. So with a little over 2,000 votes to go in California District 13, where do things stand in terms of which candidate will win? Well, for starters, we have to break down the counties in this district and the population of votes in each of these counties. Starting with the largest county by population in this district, this is Merced County, District 13. And District 13, Merced County right now, Adam Gray is leading the Republican, John Duarte, 52% to 48% by a margin of about 2,500 votes. This is 2,500 votes in the largest part of this district. And this is an area that needs to be very close, about 51-49 at absolute best for John Duarte, for Adam Gray to be leading over John Duarte, for Duarte to have a chance to win. What Adam Gray and John Duarte, the current path is right now, if all the votes are done, Adam Gray wins. For John Duarte, he needs to find a way to make up about 193 votes out of the final vote batch. And that all depends where the votes are coming from. Right now, the best counties for John Duarte are Fresno County, which is going 56% to 44% for Duarte over Gray, but it is needing to be pointed out that Fresno County is the fourth largest county in this district. The next one is Madera County. John Duarte is leading here 57-43, and that is the third largest county in this district. The bad news is the two largest counties in the district right now are Merced County and Stanislaus County, in which they are both currently going Democrat at this time. Stanislaus County with over 95% in, Adam Gray is leading 53% to 47%, and Merced County, Adam Gray is leading 52% to 48%. So where the votes remain to be counted from right now, that's the question. I've seen some reports saying some votes were left out in Merced County, some votes are left out in Stanislaus County. The question still is there enough votes for John Duarte to be able to come back and win this race? That is the fundamental question. That is why the New York Times and the Associated Press have not yet called this race, because mathematically it is totally possible for John Duarte on the last vote drop to make up that 190 vote lead that Adam Gray currently has. There's more than enough votes for that margin to be made up. The question is, where will those votes be coming from? And it really questions the margin, where right now, as I mentioned, Adam Gray is leading Merced County, the largest district, by about 2,500 votes. For the margin to flip, that would mean John Duarte would have to win the vote drop by about 192, 193 votes if no other votes come in from the district. And is that possible? Well, I think it certainly is possible. I don't think it's certainly likely at this time. We've seen this race trend over since Election Day, and now over 3 weeks since then, coming up on 4 weeks. We've seen the trend in this race. Duarte was leading on Election Day, and as more and more votes have been counted, his lead got smaller and smaller and smaller until a few days ago when Adam Gray took the lead over John Duarte. So now the race has flipped, and that Duarte needs to play catch up to try and take the lead back from Gray. And if it's true the votes are all in from Fresno and Madera, well then the odds of John Duarte winning certainly go down. So that would mean he would need to depend on winning vote drops out of 2 Democratic areas right now that Adam Gray is winning, which coincidentally are the 2 largest counties in the 13th district. First, we'll start with Stanislaus County. This county right now, Adam Gray is leading by 7 points, 53% to 47%. I'm starting with Stanislaus because this is the one I've seen on X, so I'm not 100% how reliable this is, but I did see on X there was still some votes remaining to be counted in Stanislaus County. And right now in Stanislaus County, there's 58,758 votes cast here. And depending on how many votes are left in this area, there could be enough votes for John Duarte to win if he could make up that margin in this county. If the remaining 1% comes from here, that would be enough votes out of here for that to happen. But right now, Adam Gray is leading this county 53 to 47 by about 4,000 votes. Is there any guarantee a vote drop will come in more favorable for the Republican over the Democrat? I have a hard time believing that it will be. And this is a district that is actually very vulnerable for John Duarte. When we look at the Cook PVI, which is the Cook Partisan Voting Index scores calculated following the 2021 round of redistricting, and this is going to show us that in California 13, this is a Democrat +4 district that John Duarte right now is representing, which means essentially the Democrats have about a 4-point advantage going into this district in generic Democrat versus generic Republican. So looking at it right now, essentially Adam Gray and John Duarte are running pretty close to even as could be, 50-50. If you want to round up the 5, you could say, okay, well then we have 50.1 and we have 50 or 49.9. But again, it's really, he would round up to 50, he would round up to 51 or 50.1. So you could say 50.0 to 50.1. But the point being, either way, this race is essentially as close to a dead tie that you could ever possibly get in a in a district that is plus Democrat +4. And yet, this race is still coming down to the wire. It can still go either way. It's looking like Adam Gray has a slight edge right now. For Adam Gray to lose this race, Duarte needs to have a vote drop likely out of Merced County or Stanislaus County that defies what has been going on in these counties as the trend. Is it possible? Yes, but it remains to be seen where. Looking at the size of the lead map, this gives a pretty decent idea that Merced County right now is about 82,000 votes in. Madera has about a little over 33,500, and Fresno has a little over 20,000. Meanwhile, San Joaquin County up here has about 14,700, and Stanislaus has about 58,758. This is a very, very close race, and one where the math is just simply not favoring John Duarte at this time. It's not impossible for Duarte to win, but the math is certainly not in his favor. And the partisan map being Cook has Democrat +4 in this race certainly does not make things any easier for the Republican incumbent. That's where things stand right now for the California 13th district. It's a very fascinating one because, as I mentioned, looking at the House map, that is now officially the last race to be called in the House of Representatives map, where Republicans have 220 representatives, Democrats have 214. So Republicans do have over the 218 majority in the House of Representatives to have a majority. However, it does also need to be noted that when Representative Matt Gaetz resigns, and we also have Elise Stefanik resigning to join the Trump administration, and Florida Representative Michael Waltz, that's 3 seats right there. Republicans would then go down, technically, to 217, and if this race stays blue, Democrats would be at 215, leading Republicans with just a 2-seat majority and under that 218 number for total control. So it is very possible not a lot would get done until those seats are filled. And depending on how those seats are filled, that could be very, very interesting as well. So that's where things stand right now in California 13. As close to a race as this is, and this is certainly very, very close, we know that the end is getting very, very near in this district. As votes are coming in, they typically come in about 7 p.m. or so Eastern Standard Time out of California, and that'd be about 4 p.m. California West Coast time. I don't think this race is going to drag on for too much longer. There may be a recount, so that may drag on, but I don't think we're going to have to wait too much longer before a decision is made by the AP and a lot of news outlets. So that's where things stand right now in California 13. Again, as I mentioned, California 45 has been called for the Democratic challenger. Iowa District 1 has been called for the Republican incumbent, and now all eyes are on California 13. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to give this video a like, click subscribe, share with your friends and family, and I hope to see you in a future video. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like. And if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button and make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really, really, really like the video. And remember to stay tuned because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day. So I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.